Okay guys, this is your next question from XAT22. Please pause the video and try solving it first and then you can resume for the solution. Okay, so the question says some members of a social service organization in Kolkata decide to prepare 2400 laddus to give to children in various orphanages and slums in the city during Durga Puja. The plan is that each of them makes the same number of laddus. However, on the laddu making day, 10 members are absent, thus each remaining member makes 12 laddus more than the earlier decided. How many members actually make the laddu? It's a very standard question. There is a very straightforward approach to solve such questions. I'll tell you that. And then I'll tell you a quick shortcut to deal with these cases. So the conventional method first. So let the number of members initially decided is X and let them all make Y number of laddus each. Okay, they are going to make the same number of laddus. Let that number be equal to Y. So total number of laddus made will be X multiplied by Y, and this has been given to us as 2400 in the question, right? Now, however, on the laddu making day, 10 members are absent. X members were supposed to work, out of them 10 were absent. So number of people now working will be X minus 10. So all these X minus 10 members individually make Y plus 12 number of laddus. The total number of laddus made should be X minus 10 into Y plus 12. Again, this has been given as 2400 in the question. As I've said, it's a pretty straightforward question. Now we equate these two. We'll equate these two and try to find some equation in X and Y. So when I equate these two, I'm going to get X into Y will be X minus 10 into Y plus 12. Opening the right hand side bracket, X into Y plus 12 will be XY plus 12X minus 10 into Y plus 12 will be minus 10Y. And obviously minus 10 into plus 12 is minus 120. XY is there on the left hand side as well. It will get cancelled from both sides. I'll simply get a linear equation saying 120 on the left hand side, 12x minus 10y should be equal to 120. And now we make note of this particular equation. So now we need to focus on these two equations. 12x minus 10y equals 120 and x into y is 2400. This equation, I'll take 10y on the right hand side. I'll get 12x is 10y plus 120. And dividing through by 12, I'm going to get x is equal to 10y plus 120 divided by 12. Now, this value of x will substitute in the first equation that we saw. In place of x, we will have 10y plus 120 divided by 12. Y will be as it is. And the right hand side as it is 2400. Okay, this again transforms into an equation which I can write as y into 10y. 10y square plus 120 into y is 120y is equal to 2400 into 12 on the right hand side, 2400 multiplied by 12. To simplify things, we could just cancel out a 0 on both sides. So 0, 0, 0 gone. We have y square plus 12y is equal to 240 into 12. So now we have a quadratic equation. Many people break their head trying to factorize it. We simply observe that the left hand side is y into y plus 12 should be equal to 240 into 12, right? We want a value of y such that if you put y in the left hand side, on the left hand side, it should give you the value 240 into 12. So basically two numbers, we want to split the right hand side as a product of two numbers whose gap is 12. Little bit of mathematical jugglery will show that the right hand side is basically 2880 and obviously y is a factor of 2880. So let's factorize 2880. We try by putting a y as 12. If you put y as 12, it will be very small. 12 into 12 plus 12 is 24. It will be around 300. Okay, precisely speaking, it's going to be 288, but we want 2880. So obviously it's not 12. Okay, let's try by taking higher values. If you take y as 20, so 20 into 20 plus 12 will be 20 into 32. Obviously, it's not 2880. It has to be slightly higher. So let's take 40. 40 into 40 plus 12 is 52. 4 2s are 8, 4 5 20. No, it's 2080. We're still short of 800. Let's take 50. 50 into 50 plus 12 is 62. 50 into 62. That exceeds 2880. So it has to be less than 50. And a factor of 2880. So let's try something less than 50. Let's try by 48. So 48 into 48 plus 12 is 60. Bingo. And that gives us 48 into 60 gives us 2880, right? So naturally, y very clearly is 48 and y plus 12 is 48 plus 12 that you can basically find out. All right, so now we have found y as 48, and we knew from the previous data that x into y was simply 2400. So from here we can easily figure out the value of x as 2400 divided by 48, and that should be basically equal to 48 fives are 240 and then 0 50. Okay, so initially 50 people were working to make the laddus, but as per the question, 10 people were absent on that day, right? So finally, how many members actually made the laddus? It is 50 minus the 10 people who were absent. Your answer would be 40. Okay, now this conventional way would be very, very lengthy. It is obviously very, very lengthy to deal with. I'll tell you a slightly better way. I mean, we have to anyway factorize the number 2400. So let's start by factorizing that number. So what we can observe is 2400 has to be split into two numbers. Okay, if one number reduces by 10, the other number has to increase by 12. So breaking down 2400 into two factors, obviously both of them have to be greater than 12 in this case. So let's start by taking 20. If you take this as 20 and this is 120, the product is 2400, but reducing this by 10 would become 10 and increasing this by 12 would become 132. The product is no more 2400, so it's not 20 and 120 for sure. Let's try higher values. What about 24? If I take 24 and 100, now if you reduce this by 10, it becomes 14, and increasing this by 12, it becomes 112. The product is again not 2400 for sure. So we want higher factors. Let's take the next higher factor, 30. What if I take 30? I get 30 into 80. Naturally, reducing this by 10 would make it 20. Increasing this by 12 will make it 92. The product is not 2400 anymore. Same problem would be with 32 and 75. Okay, exactly same issue. Let's try some higher factors. What about the next higher factor, 40? If you take 40 and 60, if you reduce this by 10, it becomes 30. And increases by 12, it becomes 72. The product is not 2400 anymore. We want higher factors, 36. 36 again won't work. What about 40? We have checked already. The next higher factor would be 48. 48 on multiplying by 50 will make it 2400, and that clearly satisfies the given condition, right? 50, if you reduce by 10, you'll simply get 40, and 48 if you increase by 12, you'll get 60. The product is 2400. We have found our answer. Actual people working is 40, and that's option E. Now this may seem very lengthy again, but if you're not in the habit of solving the questions like this, it may take time. When I started solving this, I could get the values in 1 or 2 iterations. So that's how it is. A slightly better way of approaching these questions. Try to look at the number and factorize it into two parts, and that should give the answer. 40 in this case is the answer to our question.